Hello, family. My name is James Trice, and I'm the creator of a podcast called YANA, or You Are Not Alone. You Are Not Alone is a podcast for Black men. It is more than just a podcast. It's a lifeline and a brotherhood. We're here to create a supportive, judgment-free space where Black men can have real, open conversations about what truly matters to us, from family and relationships to community, sports, culture, politics, faith, sex, race, education, and the challenges of everyday life. We dive deep into it all. Whether you're looking for advice, motivation, prayer, or just the comfort of knowing you're not walking this journey alone. YANA is here for you. This is your space to connect, grow, and be heard, because none of us are meant to do life alone. Look for new episodes weekly wherever you get your podcasts. And look for me on Instagram at jbtrice123. Welcome to YANA. Greetings, everyone. Grace and peace. Welcome to another episode of YANA. You Are Not Alone, a space for Black men to talk uncensored about the issues that matter most to us in a non-judgmental environment. We talk about it all, and this is a space for you. And so welcome again. This is James Trice. Welcome to YANA. You Are Not Alone, a space for Black men. And today's episode, we have, again, another friend of mine, Bryan K Cole. And I had to be specific about that because he has a son also named Bryan Cole who's going to be joining the show some other time. So I want to be specific. This is Bryan K Cole, the senior. And I want, Bryan, if you can introduce yourself and tell the audience something about you, and we can get started with the conversation.
Good morning or good afternoon, wherever time may be. I'm Bryan Cole, Bryan K Cole to be specific. Tell you a little bit about me. I'm pretty much a fun kind of guy, so you'll see me smile quite a bit. Briefly, I'm a 68-year-old middle-aged Black man. I've been married for 49 years to my childhood sweetheart. I'm the father of 3, grandfather of 3. I'm a grafted in parent of probably 9 or 10 other adults that just have infected my life. I've infected their life also, and we stay close contact. These are former students of mine, adults that I've met in life, and we've just created a bond. So my children even understand these are your grafted in children, and they appreciate them. They're all friendly and friends to each other, and so they're all connected. I'm a Christian. I should say that's first and foremost. I'm on the better side of my salvation. And I say that because my first 20 years, I had to invest that to give back to all that I was in the world.
Wow. Okay.
So,
All right.
and that's pretty much a good story about me.
Okay. So you said something I want to just really go into for a few minutes if we could. You said that you're Christian, and you said first and
Yeah.
foremost. And so, to you, in your opinion, does the Christian come before Black? As a Black man, you're a Black man in America. This is a space for Black men. Are you a Christian first, or are you a Black man who is a Christian? So are you a Christian who is a Black man, or are you a Black man who is a Christian?
I'm going to qualify that by saying I was Black before I was a Christian.
Okay.
I was Black before I ever knew that I was created in His image. I was Black when I was created in my mother's womb. I was a Christian when I found out salvation, that my livelihood, my life was bought with a price, and that's my Christianity. But I was always Black before I ever knew Christ. So I am a Black man in America who is a Christian. And some people will get concerned about this statement, but they say America is a Christian nation. America is a nation where we can practice our Christianity to its utmost. Because America has Christian principles, but not always Christian actions.
Right. So, as a Black man who is a Christian, what are you most passionate about?
My passion is about never denying that I'm a Black man who just happens to be a Christian.
Hmm.
Um, and I don't shy away from that. Again, like I said, I walk in the room, I realize first, before I say anything, what do people perceive me as? And it's a Black man. I have to let you know that I'm a Christian, my actions and my activities. But your first opinion of me when I walk in the room is I'm a Black man. And from that point, I'm really trying to make you more comfortable with me than I am with you.
Hmm.
Because I wake up in the morning, I don't have to look in the mirror. I don't have to think about it. I'm a Black man. I walk out in the streets, commerce, business. My first perception is people see me as a Black man. When they find out that I'm a Christian, when they find out me, the person, it affects their opinion of me. My opinion of me was I was always good. I was always, I was always who I am.
Right.
And it didn't come easy. I had to accept the fact that I was always okay.
Hmm.
And it took a while to get there. But from that point on, um, your perception of me is your perception. My perception of me is always going to be my truth.
Hmm.
And
Wow.
the young kids say, I stand on business with that one.
Yeah. Right. Right.
Mhm.
So you mentioned, you said, and you step into a room, a space,
Mhm.
public, and you realize that people see you when they first see you, they see a Black man, right?
Yes.
And there are perceptions. I mean, America harbors negative stereotypes, negative perceptions about we as Black men.
Yes.
As a Christian Black man, how do you deal with the negative perceptions that America harbors about we as Black men? How do you deal with that? Even knowing that even after they see you, even after they know and realize that you are a Christian Black man, that their perceptions of you many times doesn't change. Their
Doesn't change.
right, their ideology, their stereotypes about you as a Black man, about Black men,
Mhm.
doesn't change.
Yeah. A couple of days ago, we were sitting watching a soldier story. And one of the lines in the movie was to the captain, I can't remember his name, but anyway, the commander told him, be a credit to your race.
Hmm.
Every time I hear that, it strikes me because I say, okay, so what is my race? I know who I am, but who do you perceive who I am? And my job is, honestly, to tear down your stereotypes. I
Hmm.
walk in because your perception of me as a black man, black men don't, black men do. I'm totally different.
Hmm.
I'm a black man, and the things that you say I shouldn't do, I probably do. And things that you say I should do, I probably don't. But how do you perceive me? So I walk into kind of like put that verb and that exclamation point to shatter your perceptions. I am different. And I say that because I can go back to when I was in high school. I went to the same high school my brothers and sisters had all gone to. My cousins had all gone to, older cousins. And so I remember hearing the counselor tell me, say, "Oh, we know who you are." And I proceeded for all those years to prove to them that I'm not quite like them. I'm totally different. And it's
So you're not quite like who
like
when you
all of
said who?
my relatives who preceded me at that school, because I'm different. I'm the one that's going to step outside of, and I didn't know I was doing that, but I just didn't want to be molded in, I didn't want to be perceived or understood as them. And when I say that, that wasn't a bad thing in my family because everyone preceded me in my family was at the top of, they were the superlatives in the school. My wanting to shatter that was I wanted to make my own mark. You know, you always hear the statement about
Right.
pulling yourself up by your own bootstraps. Well, I didn't know I had bootstraps, but I wanted to make my own way. I wanted to be me. And so
So
it,
what
it
you're saying, let me just say, what you're saying is you're talking about a personal perception that people perceive you to be like other family members that they know of you.
yeah,
What I'm
well,
getting at
somewhat.
as a black man, period, in general, do you follow what I'm saying? Not like a,
Hmm.
what I'm hearing you saying is your family was a particular way. They did certain things.
Right.
And what you didn't want is to be typecast as being, headed their direction or doing what they do.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
Because
hearing you saying. Am I correct?
yes. And you know that bleeds out into other facets of my life because I was always wanting to be the different one.
From
I,
your
w- I
family.
w- not just from my family, from what was perceived as how a black man or a black young man should be or a black boy should be. I wanted to prove that I was a little bit different
A little bit different than what? Than their perceptions? And
than
who were
their
you trying to
perception.
prove that? Who were you trying to prove that to?
To everyone that voiced to me, "Oh, we know who you are. You're like," no, I'm not. I'm
Okay.
like me. I'm like me, the
Okay.
individual. I am. I might be. I'll use this because I'm growing roses in my front yard. I'm a rose, but I'm a different rose than what you normally see because the roses I have in my yard, I really don't know what type they are, but they bud up every day and it surprises me. And I want to be that surprise. I want to bud up every day and not be, "Oh, you're a rose, but you're a little bit different." Yeah, that's what I want. Why?
Okay.
Because I'm flavoring this life for so many other people. And your perception isn't the only one. I've got people that I don't even know that are watching me.
Hmm.
So therefore, I have to become I don't necessarily want to say acceptable. I have to become someone that they can recognize. That you might be a rose, but you're a little bit different from all the other roses, and I enjoy roses. So I like you. I
So
get they get a
that's
different
interesting,
perception.
right? That's interesting, right? Because it sounds like, and that because white people's perception or society's perception about black men
Mm-hmm.
has been debunked, right? It's disproved. Their perceptions are false. We're a figment of their imagination. And so that's been disproved. These negative perceptions about these are black men are all of them are drug dealers, or all of them are lazy, or all of them are whatever. Whatever we've heard them all.
Yes.
Um, and so it sounds like I'm hearing you say that the perceptions you want to disprove their perception, but as if some of their perceptions are true.
Some of their perceptions are true, and it depend. And instead of it being painted with such a broad stroke, they
Yeah,
paint their
because
they want to paint their perceptions to everyone, and it might be true for one or two. But guess what? There are one or two that are excelling opposite of what you have been believing all your life.
right,
And
yeah, because
those one or two are
right,
not the anomaly. It's the one or two that stick to your narrow perception. It's the 98 that are going the other way that tend to make you, Arsenio Hall used to say, make you say,
right.
yeah,
I because I've heard white people say this before, right? Um, you know, you're not like them, right? You're
hmm
not like what I perceive, right? But what happens
right,
is they don't change their perception still. They
right.
still they'll take you who don't fit into their perception and pull you out of it and say you're different than what they are. So you're not black like them. As opposed to saying, "Oh, all black people are not like this." They don't change that. They continue to maintain this thought or this perception that they have and and never give up that perception. But what they do is take you out of the perceptions you don't fit. If you don't fit into, if a black man doesn't fit into the perception that they have, they tend to take them out of what their perception is, maintaining that perception. Just say you're different than the rest of them. You're different than all of them. Have you heard that term before? And what do you think
Yeah,
about that?
and I've heard that term before, and I like to say, I'm here to open up the door and let a whole bunch of us that are not like what you think, that are different, to let you see your view of us is really, really narrow. There's a whole
But
bunch. There's a whole bunch
but
like
they know
me.
that. That's what I can't understand because they know that we're not like what they perceive us to be. They know that, right? So the
Yeah.
struggle then is why do we try to disprove something that they already know? Why do we try to right? And I hear us the struggle is we're trying to show them something different and they're not receiving it. They're going to continue to maintain their perceptions even if 100 people out of one, I mean 99 out of the one don't fit into their perception. They still want to maintain the perception that they have of the one and say y'all just a little different, but I believe the rest all of y'all are really like this. Y'all just a little different.
Yeah. And I'll give you the 1 degree of travel. If you are going north and you keep varying your course every mile 1 degree, to the left or to the right? When do you stop going north? Just 1 degree, every mile forward, 1 degree to the left or to the right. When do you stop going north?
Right.
And I'm here to, I think some of the things that I do, some of the actions I take, some of the things that I say are about giving, helping helping change your perception, because you see more and more and more and more blacks, black men specifically, that are not fitting into your stereotype. We begin to change the stereotype. The stereotype becomes, wow, black men can become quarterbacks on football teams.
Do you think then that they still maintain that, or do they just say this man is exceptional or he's an anomaly? Do you follow what I'm
Um,
saying?
yeah, they change and they make adjustments, but basically you're peeling a few off of that crowd that says you're just an anomaly. When all blacks are like that, you're peeling a few off. And how many, again, like that 1 degree, how many do you have to get away to change them from they're going north and you want them to go east or west? How
Right.
many times do you have to do that? And I look at my life as an example of changing minds, changing mindsets, changing people's perceptions.
Do you
Um,
believe that's possible? I mean, so two questions. Do you believe it's possible? And then why is it important for us to change society's perception of us? Why is it on us to change their perception of us? And do you think it's possible?
I think it's possible. I do think it's possible. Again, living life. I think it's possible? I own a house. Do I think it's possible? I've raised 3 successful kids. I think it's possible.
No, but no,
But wait, well, hold on. Let
do
me
you, do you, do
finish.
you, do right. I was gonna say, you've done that because this is who we are anyway.
Right.
But what I'm getting at is, does that change their perception? Because you own a house, does that still change their perception of what black men are? Or do they continue to maintain their perceptions and say that you're an anomaly to what we believe?
To the mass, yes, the phone keep the stand is not holding well. But my perception is, or my view on that is, yes, because again, they learn that we are pretty much just like them, just as successful one by one. But as they accept us one by one, we're disproving their perceptions one by one. So I'm not the only one that is out here making a change. But my part of the puzzle is I have to be my part of the puzzle. I have to continuously apply me to what their stereotype and beliefs have been. And then I pull along someone that says, hey, he's not the only one. There are more just like him.
Right.
And on the white person's side, to pull them away from, well, this is what I've always believed, this is what I've grown up to be, and it's totally different. It's
But
totally different.
how stressful is that on us as black people to kind of continue to say, I want to change their perceptions of me. I want to do something and try to convince them that we're not what they say we are. isn't that a source of stress for us? Isn't that one of the stressors that we live with in as Black people that give
Oh,
us high blood pressure and hypertension and right, that stresses us out because we're trying to prove to a society, to a system that has these perceptions that are baked in the cake that you see them played out in the criminal justice system and
oh,
and all of the disparities that are there, and then for us to try to change it, how stressful is that?
very stressful. But here's one thing, I don't like to use this word resilient, but that is a part of our DNA, the ability to be resilient, the ability to bounce back, the ability to overcome. Because if you look at all that has happened to Blacks in America, we have overcome.
Yeah, but
Yes,
that's different than what
it's
that's different than what I'm getting at. What I'm getting at is I know we have, but should our focus be trying to change their perception or just continue to be who we are, resilient people who went through a whole bunch and still go through hell, right?
mhm. Yep.
And then continue to make it through. So what I'm saying is it on us to work to try to change their perception? Or do we just stop and say, we just continue to be who we are, the resilient people, steadfast, unmovable people who continue to forge ahead and made really America what America is today. This
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Aside from all of the negativity of the negative perceptions, you follow what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I say that because even in doing, if we make, how did I have this quote that I use on all my emails? Determine that your life will make a positive impact in the life of others. Making a positive impact is sometimes walking down the street, you see some trash on the ground, pick it up and throw it in the trash.
Right.
That's changing a white person's perspective of you, because their perspective is you just trash up the streets. Well, I may not affect a whole bunch of white people, but there's one somewhere that saw me do that.
But is
And I
that on us to do? Do we try? Is that what our focus should be, or should our focus just be on just living and
our
being?
focus in just living, that's what we do. It's a byproduct of us just living, because all of the achievements that we as Black men, and I'm really honing in on Black men, all of the achievements that we've done as Black men are because we just continue to live life regardless of the oppression, regardless of the
That's
pressures
right.
outside of us. We've done these things, and
Despite their perceptions,
in spite
despite
of
their
perception,
stereotypes. That's right.
yes. And every time
Right.
we do that, we just change one person, one white person's opinion. And then that one becomes two, and that two becomes four. When, how many degrees does it take going forward, east or west, 1 degree off, to stop going north? And that perceived direction of Black folks are always like this, they're always like this, they're always like this. Well, no. But then all of a sudden you see 1, 2, 3 going east, 1, 2, 3, 4 going west. All of a sudden, that target out in front, that's not really Black folks.
Right. Well,
That's that's some people. It
that,
becomes from,
thank you.
it moves away from being that's Black folks to that's just some people.
Right. But let me say
Because
this. I just want to say I'm not interested. Just me. I'm not interested in working to try to change white people's opinion. When we passed civil rights laws, when civil rights laws were passed, those laws weren't passed they weren't intended to change the opinions.
No.
Those laws were passed to say, regardless of your perceptions, keep those perceptions, keep those opinions, keep those stereotypes, but we're not going to let your perceptions or stereotypes or your opinions hinder people from moving about, from
Mm-hmm.
living, right? From having a right as a human being to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, as America calls it. It wasn't intended to change their perceptions, right? And so I'm
Mm-hmm.
not interested, just me, in changing
Yeah.
the perceptions of white folk or society that has these perceptions. Because even some of us have internalized some of these negative perceptions
Right.
and
Yeah.
stereotypes
Definitely.
that are rife in America, right? Baked in the cake. And some of us
Yeah.
have done that. But I, for one, am not interested in moving and doing what I do to change white people's opinion. I'm just going to do what I do because I want to do it and I want to make our lives as black people better, regardless of what white people's opinion is. If I never change any white person's opinion, I don't care.
Yeah. But let me turn and ask you a question. That's not your plan, but does that happen? It's a
It does happen.
byproduct. It's a
Oh yeah.
byproduct of you being you. And that's for me, that's always part of my goal.
I
I
get what
want
you're
to
saying.
be as much me as possible, but as much of me changes you, then I
Yeah,
like to say I'm
yeah,
striking the goal. That may not be my plan. That may not be my
right.
intention. Because I give you example. Some of the I have a few friends that are really the least likeliest if you were to meet them to see how in the world are you two, but because we found a compatibility in what we like, our perceptions and our walls start to come down. Did I try to do that? No, I tried to be me as much as possible. They tried to be them as much as possible. But when we kept interacting, our I can't say our guards, but our walls started coming down brick by brick. Did we intend to do that from the onset? No. But as I look back over a few years, it's like, boy, I don't know how that happened because we were almost polar opposites. And now we've aligned in such a way about being human.
Right, right.
And that, again, that's been my target.
Okay.
I'm just as human as you.
Yeah, we always known that, right? So
Yeah,
I know we only got, man, we got like, actually, we went a little bit over time, but I'm going to give us a few more minutes here because
yeah,
I want you to say something, because I want to continue this conversation. And the thing, I want to bring you back so that we can go back to this conversation, because I do want to
right.
say to you that I know uh, some of it happens, right? Some
Mhm.
white people's minds or perceptions are changed by seeing differences that are an anomaly to their perception, right? Um, but
Mhm.
society still, America still harbors these deep-rooted negative perceptions and stereotypes about black men. So I want to give you the last word. What I want you to do, and as we close here, what would you say to brothers, black men, and whoever else is listening right now? Any final words you would say to them that you want to leave with them right now, for whatever reason, however you want to frame it, that would encourage them or inspire them or whatever else? Any last words you want to say to our audience?
Um, I every now and then I jokingly say, "Do you want to win $1 million lottery?" And a lot of people say, oh, yeah, I'd like to. I said, okay, I'm going to deliver that check to you or that winning ticket on a rock. And I'm going to throw that rock at you at 98 miles an hour. What are you going to do? And a lot of people say, I'm going to catch it. But you have to think baseball pitchers throwing a ball at 95, 98 miles an hour hits you, you've got to be prepared to catch it.
Mm.
So I like to share with a lot of, and I talk about my grafted in children. A lot of them are one or two female, but mostly guys. Prepare yourself to catch. You don't know what's going to be thrown at you. You don't know how it's going to be thrown at you. You don't know what's going to be thrown at you, but prepare yourself to catch. Some things you catch and you just kind of wave it off. Some things you catch and you keep. David threw a rock at Goliath. David told him how he was going to throw it. Goliath wasn't prepared to catch it the way he caught it. He caught it in the middle of his forehead and he lost his head for it. Prepare yourself to catch. We never know when it's going to be thrown or what's going to be thrown. But if you're prepared to catch, you're more prepared to catch it than to miss it. Prepare to catch.
Wow. Thank you so much, brother. Brother Bryan, we got to have you come back. Again, this is so great. And I want to continue this conversation. I think there's a lot here that we still have to unravel and uncover and unwrap. So I'd love to do that with you next time. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. You've been listening to YANA, a space for Black men. We look forward to seeing you next time. And remember to like and subscribe to my YouTube page. Until then, remember, we're not meant to do life alone. Grace and peace, everyone. YANA is here for you. This is your space to connect, grow, and be heard, because none of us are meant to do life alone.